But I can definitely suggest you some of the good universities that are not as competitive as University of Toronto or UBC, but still they are one of the top universities. And students, I have seen that students going to those universities, they make out a great career in the IT industry. Sagar, there are a lot of part-time jobs available in the IT industry, but there's only one problem. They are very, very hard to find. Because if we talk about mid-scale to large companies, they hardly hire any part-timers. So you won't ever find a listing of that Amazon is hiring part-time software developers or some other company. So big corporates, they don't hire part-timers. It's only the small companies or the small startups. And even for that, you won't find the job openings listed on the job search platforms like LinkedIn or like Indeed. It's very rare that you'll find. So there's only one way left to to find the part-time job, and that's the through your networking on LinkedIn. So I would suggest the audience to if they are, let's say they are living in Mississauga region or whatever Greater Toronto area, they should look for the startups that are currently established in that area, and then they should try to message on LinkedIn to the startup founders or the startup tech team, whatever. So all my friends who have worked in the in part-time in the IT industry, they all got the jobs through networking. So basically, like, it's not a game of just 1 or 2 months. You have to do it consistently over a few of the months. So one of my friend, he got after 5 months, some of them got after 8 months. So I have also done a separate video on this, but the main part is that you need to do networking and you need to reach out to people. So part-time job won't be served to you. So you have to do some of the efforts to actually look for that job. But there are a lot if you have passion to find that thing.
No, that's a wonderful point, and I think there's a term that's just called like hidden jobs, right? So, which again could refer to as a networking. Like, networking is the key, and I always say this on my channel. And the people who have joined me for the videos, it's something that been repeated on this channel and on your channel as well. You have a separate video, as you said. I will put it in the description of this video. Wonderful, Sahil. So again, talking about the international students, let's talk about the programs. And I'm aware of the fact, and you would agree as well, that it completely depends on someone's individual, like their individual profile, their merit, the budget that they have, right? But are there any programs that you would like to advise to our viewers, or any colleges or universities that would help them in gaining some knowledge about ITs, according to the Canadian market?
So Sagar, till this point, we have discussed that Canada has a huge IT industry and there are jobs for all sort of profiles. So I think it will be very unfair if I pinpoint, okay, so you should be a web developer, you should be a mobile developer. So I think instead of that, like, people, they should choose like whatever interests them. They should try to explore their interest, because at the end we need to do a job, and whatever the industry or whatever profile they are good at or whatever the skills they have, they will definitely get a good job, right? So instead of targeting, instead of me suggesting them one particular course that they should pursue this program at Humber College or some XYZ college, right? So they should try to look for their own interest. But I can definitely suggest you some of the good universities that are not as competitive as University of Toronto or UBC, but still they are one of the top universities. And students, I have seen that students going to those universities, they make out a great career in the IT industry. So if we talk specifically about the Ontario region, so University of Waterloo needs to be number one, because it's a very competitive university, but not as much as if we compare to University of Toronto, as in my experience, because I think just recently they have introduced to get the GRE scores and everything. But before that, they were not accepting the students based on the GRE. So it was completely based upon the profile. So I feel that when something is just completely based upon your profile, it somehow increases your chance. It somehow increases the flexibility to get admission in that university. But again, like, it's a very, very, very competitive university. And apart from this, if we talk about Ontario region, Ryerson University, University of Ottawa, University of Windsor, they are great options for the IT aspirant. And if we talk about Quebec, so in Quebec, my personal favorite would be Concordia University. And there are a lot of reasons why I want to suggest students Concordia University, which we will again discuss in the video about Montreal, right? And I won't suggest people to pursue, or the viewers to pursue any program on Quebec colleges, which again we will discuss in the other video. because in the past there have been a lot of incidents with the Quebec colleges. So if they want to look for a good college, they should move towards Ontario region or the Vancouver region. And in Vancouver side or the British Columbia side, I have seen University of Victoria. Yeah, it's very famous among IT aspirants. And if we talk about Nova Scotia region, so the top picks will be Dalhousie University, St. Mary University, or the Cardi University. So these were some of the top universities that students can consider if they are planning to have a good career in IT.
Awesome. I think this is gonna help a lot of viewers and to make the decision. And as you said, it depends on personal interest. One should always look for the future opportunities and the career they want to pursue, rather than just going for the best college or university. At the end, when you sit in the interview, right, it's your knowledge, how you convey it. I don't think like university or college play a big part. And I also believe that it's your knowledge and communication that you portray to the other person, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
Great. So, Sahil, moving forward, is there any advice that you would like to give the future international students who want to kickstart their career? And you would be the perfect example and the best person to answer this, because you have been through the process and you've been able to establish a successful career without any Canadian work experience. So, any advice that you would like to give to our viewers?
Yes, for the Canadian experience, I know it's valued a lot. But if you are in the IT industry or the software industry, so there's one thing that can always overpower your Canadian experience, and those are your skills, right? So even if you don't have the Canadian experience, so if a company has to choose between someone who has a few months of Canadian experience versus someone who is highly, highly skilled in particular profile they are looking for, right? They will definitely go for the one with the greater technical skills, because whenever the companies are talking about the Canadian experience, they are just making sure that this person knows how to work in a culturally diverse team, right? But if some candidate is very, very strong with the technical skills, then companies might somehow take a chance about that candidate, because your work ethics, your skills, your projects, they will also reflect what are your work ethics, right? So I would suggest students, if they don't have much of the Canadian experience, to leverage their, the academic experience. So the 2 years that they have for the study, they should completely focus on developing great projects. And from the great projects, they should not be just developing some of the basic calculator apps. I mean, some really good projects in which they go in depth about the tech stack they are working upon. And it doesn't matter whichever tech stack they're using. So let's say if someone is using Python and you are applying for some position that's basically hiring for the Java developers, right? So if you are good with one language or you are good with one framework, companies are ready to take a chance that, okay, so this person has a growing mindset, he knows how to learn these technologies. So they assume that if you are good with one particular tech stack, you have the capabilities to learn the other one. So instead of just focusing on getting the Canadian experience, I know this is important and they should try to get internships. But if they're not able to get it, that's not the end of the world. They should completely devote their time in developing the technical skills. So that's the only advice that I would like to give to the audience.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes